Hear your favorite NFL legends sharing their stories and insights every week right here on Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari. Take it away, guys.
The door is locked. There's no way out.
And now back with us here on Thursday Night Tailgate is former Steelers Pro Bowl linebacker Greg Lloyd. Let me remind you about Greg's background. He is from Miami, Florida, played his college ball at Fort Valley State in South Georgia, where he was a three-time All-Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference selection, a three-time team defensive MVP, and as a senior, he was the Conference Player of the Year and a first-team Sheridan All-American. He was, amazingly, a sixth-round draft pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1987. Played in the league from 87 to 98, all in Pittsburgh except for his last season in Carolina. He was selected to 5 straight Pro Bowls from 1992 to 1996. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Year in 1994. He's a member of the Steelers' all-time team, and we are honored that he is back with us again tonight here on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Greg, Chris, and Bob here. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, guys. How's it going? How's Chris? Hi, Bob. How you guys doing?
All right, Greg.
Great.
The question is, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in here, making this knee a little bit better. They've got me in some little contraption here that I have to sit in, and I'd rather get all my teeth pulled than to be sitting in it, but it's a necessary evil. Listen, I apologize for. I know I was supposed to be on the show. I believe it was last week, and I think I got we got our meds kind of mixed up. Yeah, I took some meds and it just knocked me out, guys. So I apologize. Usually, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. So all day long, I've been telling my wife, "Don't you let me forget. I'm supposed to be on the show these days." So we've been setting alarms and all kind of things. So it's all good, man. But I think it's going to be very cool, man. It was good listening to Tim just now. Tim Worley, that was a Worley bird. It was good listening.
No, Tim's fantastic. Great friend of the show. He's been on with us several times. But, yeah, he's doing some great things out there as a motivational speaker now and relaying his stories. So it's great catching up with him.
Absolutely.
Greg, I want to start out our time with you tonight by going back to when you were drafted. A guy coming out of, Fort Valley State. What were people telling you coming into the draft with respect to, who was interested in you and what round they thought you might go in?
Well, you know what? It was a lot more simpler. With all this TV and social media now, that these guys, they get, they're coming out and everybody thinking they're like, superstars and things of that nature. And I it's great for these guys and it's great for, for their families and stuff like that. At the end of the day, you got to show up and you got to play. That's how I looked at it. And back then, that's what it was kind of about. I got courted by the Cowboys for the longest. I thought I was going to the Dallas Cowboys. Grew up being a Cowboys fan. Like I said, I don't tell a lot of people that. And everybody in my house was a Steelers fan. And it wasn't until back then they had 13, 14 rounds or something like that. And you only got to see the first 6 or 7 rounds on TV. Maybe the first 3 rounds. I think the first 3 rounds were shown on TV, something like that. And then after that goes off, I was just sitting, at the time, it was my, I was sitting in the apartment, with my girlfriend from college. And we were just sitting in the apartment waiting. You know how the guys do. Guys were calling you, pretending that they were, everything but, playing, but NFL guys and, playing jokes on you. And then finally, I got a call. And I had no clue. I really did. I had no clue. At that point, I was a small kid coming from a small college. I knew I played big. I knew I had the talent to play in the league. But, after going to a couple of bowl games and, sizing up other guys, it was like, okay, I can do this. I just didn't know where I wanted to go. I just knew that all I needed was an opportunity. Pittsburgh called, and I think it was Tom Modrak at the time called and, said, "Hey, Greg, we just chose you in the 6th round. What do you think of that?" And it was like, hey, man, I was happy to be anywhere. And, you say my first 2 years were kind of, I was basically a statistic because I hurt my left knee and my right knee. So I really wasn't supposed to play football anymore, man, and just got blessed. God blessed me to rehab the way I did and came back and, and played and did all those things that, that I did, all the stats and stuff. So, for me, it wasn't really, all this like you seeing on TV now. It was more like, just want to play, anywhere. Just want to play, and back then, your confidence wasn't, you didn't have all those people in here. But my agent had basically told me, hey, listen, if you But the stats that you had coming out of college, if you was at Georgia Tech, or anywhere like that, oh yeah, you're gonna be easy second, third round draft choice. But they view Division II black college football as if you were playing somewhere else. It's not the same. And so you come out with that, you kind of got a chip on your shoulder right away. But he was right. He basically told me, he said, I'm looking at you anywhere between 5th and 6th round. He said you're 5th and 6th round. And he said that's solid. He said because of of where you come from. They don't know that you can play with these other guys. And it kind of ticks you off, but it was on point. And then after that, like you say, you got to go out and you got to do the work. You got to put the work in, and you got to prove to everybody else that regardless if I'm a first rounder or ninth rounder, I'm playing with everybody else. They're putting their gear on just like I am. I'm just not going to let anybody outwork me. So that was my my thing the entire time I was there, regardless if I went to, Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl. It was just like you just want everybody to know that I'm here. It's real. Fort Valley is real. We got real talent there. And I don't know if everybody thinks like me, but, if I'm the only one that gets to come out of Fort Valley, they're going to know where my school going, because I'm going to outwork everybody, and I'm going to show up, on Sunday. And that's the mentality. These kids, they kind of get it, but like I said, they got so much, support around them and other things around them. So, you can easily get distracted, but I think some of these guys are, are pretty well grounded, in that, because just coming from the schools that they came from. So, but that was my experience, and it was short lived, because it was like, hey, you're in tomorrow, you're here. Get ready to go practice, and that was kind of it.
And Greg, to build off of something that you alluded to a moment ago, and we've talked a little bit about this when we've had you on the show before, but you were injured the majority of your first 2 seasons. Having come in as a 6th-round pick, you must have done something pretty special in training camp or in OTAs or in something that captured the coaching staff's eye and captured their imagination for them to sort of hang with a 6th-round pick through 2 seasons where, like you said, you were largely just a statistic. What did you do that really captured their attention?
Well, actually, that's a tough one. I mean, it really is. That's a tough one for me. I would have to say, like I say, my thing was my work ethic. I mean, when I came to Pittsburgh, I was probably weighing about 200 and 218, 219 tops, maybe 220 soaking wet. And but I was bench pressing just as much as the offensive linemen were, but I could run. I was running as fast, I was covering backside of backfield and things of that nature. I could pass first. I was a little guy, they were throwing me around, but, I was still sticking my head in there and things of that nature. So what they saw, I can't really say. I just think that they knew they had a kid that whatever they asked me to do, that's what I did. I mean, if they said, hey, line up on the tight end, I line up on the tight end. Line up on fullback, line up on fullback. Do this. That was the deal. And, I guess I just remember the very first scout who was, I don't know if you remember Tom Donahue. Tom Donahue was the very first person that I ran for in the NFL, and he came down. He called my coach and he said, "Hey, we're coming down. You guys got a linebacker there. We're looking at da." And Coach Porter called me and says, "Hey, there's a scout from Pittsburgh wants you to run the time." And I hadn't been, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't been, running anything like that. And it was on break, and so it was. I just remember the morning, when Tom showed up, it was raining. Well, it had rained. It was still lightly raining, and we were on our football field, which was grass. I found a pair of my cleats in my locker, went out, ran a timing for him, and he looked at me, and I thought it was like, okay, I don't know if that's a good look or bad look or what. And then he says, has anybody else, came down here and ran your time? And I said, no. But then, if you're smart enough, you start thinking, he saw something. He saw something, there. And so, he didn't tell me what I ran, but I knew it was pretty good because I knew what I had run at at another, at a black college, I had been at. I knew what my timing was, but I was running on turf then. This was on grass. And so I just knew some things were going to happen. But like you said, back then, just prior to, OTAs, we call them minicamps. Yeah, they call them OTAs now. But going to minicamp, we weren't allowed to put pads on or anything like that. So they didn't see me hit. They didn't see me do any of that stuff like that. It was just basically, a hustle, a willingness to learn, a willingness to, hey, listen, I'll play wherever you want me to play, kind of thing. And that was the deal with me. And I think the Steelers like that. They were looking for that, and like I said, I didn't have that, I'm hey, all you guys from, all these, North Carolinas and Georgias and all these, y'all come on, get in front of me because I'm so scared. So my mentality was, okay, I know y'all went to D1 schools and all that, but I'm gonna tell you what, if you come over here in front of me, you better have your act together because, I say, this ain't no pushover. That was my mentality, and it was my mentality from the day I got there to the day I retired.
Bob, questions for Greg?
Yeah, that was going to lead into my question, Greg. Your confidence was legendary, and after being drafted, you kind of alluded to it already, but did the team, the Steelers, say to you, we want you to either work on this, or did you know what you had to work on to become the great player that you did?
Well, I mean, you when you compare it to, other guys, like I said, when you get there, I mean, we got the Lamberts, you have the Russells, you got the Hammers, and then, I've got Chili Cole there. I've got Mike Merriweather, Brian Hinkle, David Little. I mean, we just got a ton of just super linebackers. All of them weren't physically superior. Some were, but some of them were just from a standpoint of not ever getting out of position. And so you got to go, okay. It's like if I was making in a science lab, and I want to make a mad linebacker. So I'm going to take a little bit of this from Lambert and put it in here, and I'm going to take this over here from Hammer, I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to take this from D. Little, I'm going to put it over here, and Merriweather, and you just keep doing it. So that's what I did. I was like, I watched. If Mike Merriweather was running to a drill, I was running to a drill. If Robin Cole was sitting there saying, hey, man, this ain't right. I'm like, okay, what are you talking about ain't right? What's going on? How do I figure this out? And then David Little was really, my guy because, we kind of connected more. And Little, one of the things we used to always do, guys mess up. He's like, hey, get in that playbook. You get in that playbook. And so I took that literal. Guys were just, they were just getting into business, but I took it literal. So, getting in your playbook, and it wasn't something, like I said, that we did a lot of when we was in college. You just knew the plays, and you ran them. But here you come into a different system, you have to, like you said, you got to get in your playbook. So I wanted to be the guy that, like you said, I didn't ever want to be out of position. I wanted, to be around the ball every time the ball, where it was thrown down the field, the other side of the ball, that's what I wanted to do. And I knew the only way I could do that was I had, every year, every day I had to get better. And then just talking to these guys, and then of course, I had the privilege of having Joe Greene as a defensive line coach when I was there. I get to pick his brain about, attitude. And how to do things. Me and Joe used to get so mad at me all the time because I used to throw my helmet and stuff like that. And I used to laugh at him. I go, dude, do you know all the stuff I've watched you do? And you mad at me for throwing my helmet? Now, that's what I said on the inside. I never would say that to him, because, of course, that's Joe Greene. But, you take it from there, and from that moment, man, like you say, you never see yourself as, Greg Lloyd, Division II black college guy, Fort Valley State College. Oh, by the way, he's captain of our defense. Oh, he's the leader of this. You never saw it that way. I just wanted guys to know that, hey, listen, if you're playing with me, and if you're going to play with me, you better get your act together because, I'm playing, and this is how it's going to be. We're going to play, and this is the speed we're going to play at. This is the speed we're going to practice at. And if people don't like it, then they don't like it, too bad. And that was that, man. So, most of my teammates, they were cool. I mean, they understood it. Like you said, it was one of those things where guys knew that if, either I was going to motivate you, I was going to take you off. That was kind of deal. It's like, there was no in between. It's like, he's going to motivate you. It'll make you want to play, and if you don't want to play, it's going to probably take you off because, he's going to get in your rear end. And nobody was exempt from that. And that was the cool thing about it. We had teams like that. And Coach Noel, like I said, one of the things that I loved about him was that he made it, he made it so that he wanted all of his guys to know everything everybody was doing on every down. You needed to know every position on that field, what everybody was doing, and that was one of the things that I loved about him. And then what was so funny is that when BC came in, Kyle came in, he was the exact same way. It was like, just giving you a test in front of the guy. Hey, on second down and we're playing this team this week. What do they like to do on third down when they get inside and stuff? This all this is in our notes. We had these notes all week, and he's just making sure that you're in your book. So I love that. you love that and you look forward to it. So, you could never be lax. So you always had to, get into your playbooks. You had to always, keep your head, in your book, in your playbook, making sure that, that you were on point so that you know what, like I say, everybody was doing. And when you can do that, man, you can play fast.
And Greg, we mentioned at the beginning of the show you went to 5 Pro Bowls. That first one in 1991. It's a great honor, obviously, to get into the league, make a team. But when you become a Pro Bowl player, you're among the best. What was that feeling like? The first one in 91.
Well, it's kind of cool because you got to understand this now. I come into the league in '87. I have a total reconstruction knee surgery. So my '87, '88 season is gone. So 88, 89, second year, like you say, I'm chasing, four preseason games, chasing Randall Cunningham, and, that's all you were doing to him. You were never catching him. You were chasing him. And chasing Randall Cunningham, and then I popped my knee, toward my ACL. So that's 89, 90. That's 88, 89 season. So you got between 90 and 91. So basically you're looking at my very first, like you call it, my year and a half of playing football. I'm in Pro Bowl. I mean, how many guys, back then can actually say it? You take it. My first 2 years I'm hurt, and then 91 is my 91, 92 is my first Pro Bowl. It's like, wow. So I've been in the league basically 2 years, and I'm in my first my first Pro Bowl. Not a lot of guys can say that coming from D2, being 2 knee surgeries and things of that nature. So for me, it was like, it was a statement that saying, I'm here, but it ain't enough. I've arrived, but it ain't enough. How do I get back here again? How do I get back here again? How do I get back here again? And that's the push. Once you see that and you experience that, you always want it, and stuff like that. But, like you say, in that game, you're going to always, you playing hard, man, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get it. You just got to keep playing hard. You got to keep practicing hard, and that's part of it. But, what a great, way of saying, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. We appreciate the talent. We appreciate what you've been doing in the league. So guess what? Here, we're sending you to the Pro Bowl. This is something that's voted on by your peers. This is not something that's voted on by, some guy that don't like you, some guy that that you told off or something. It's by your peers, man. And like you said, these are the guys that you played against, guys that knew that that you gave the business to. And like you say, they couldn't deny it, and that was the thing. We all voted on. Hey, listen, we played against some guys, man. Hey, listen, I can't get around this guy. I got to vote for him. This guy right here, boy, he runs hard, man. I had 2 or 3 headaches with this guy. Got to vote. That was the thing. So when guys are voting for you, you hope that they're doing the same thing. And like I said, what an honor, that the other guys from the other teams that you played against in your division thought enough of you to say, hey, listen, he's one of the best. We got to vote him in there. So that's cool.
Greg, one more before we let you go. We got our next guest, Tommy John, hanging on the line. We're going to get to Tommy in just a minute. But, Greg, we've talked a little bit about this before, and we've talked about it with Levon Kirkland, who has been a wonderful friend of the show for many, many years. But and Levon has told the story about, how he would, coming in as a rookie, getting the defensive calls, right? And he would make the call in the huddle, and sometimes you and Kevin would look at him and go, you know what, we're not running that, and decide to do something else. Did Cower or Capers or anyone ever come over to you, or will you pull you and Kevin aside and go, what are you doing?
No, the cool thing about it, like you say, when you have good coaches who understand that they have good players and leaders on the field, you know what they do? They let those players play, and they let those players lead. We're not ever going to put ourselves in positions or put the team in a position, that's going to hurt us. But what coaches do sometimes, coaches tend to overcoach. Back then, we had, come on, we got Dom Capers, we have Dick LeBeau, we have Marvin Lewis, and we have, Bill Cower, along with, other guys, John Mitchell, who's still there. This is the group that we have, all head coaches. All of them become head coaches, coordinators at some point in life. So we had a tremendous amount of coaching talent on that sideline. But sometimes these coaches got to the point where their intellect kind of overrode some situations. So it was like, hey, listen, I'm a big fan of that, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So we playing teams, and we're running base defense, and they're not scoring. They're not scoring. They're not moving the ball. And then all of a sudden, we may have come up with a new defense that we didn't practice. And then, they're giving that signal from the sideline. And I'm looking at Kirk Collar. I said, no, we are not running that. We ran that thing 3 times in practice, and every time we ran it, somebody did something wrong. So I'm like, we're not running that. And that's Scott said, listen, we ran our base defense, break. And we would just lead it home, and we didn't care what he called. But I'm running base defense, and it would be a call, something Sam will this, whatever, and that's what it would be. And and we would hit them for 2 or 3 yards, or stop them and come off the field. And it was always so funny because Coach knew we changed it, but you know what they would always do? They would always go to Levon, that's not the play we call. And he would just sit there. And he was so cool. Kirk would just sit there with his hands, just kind of shrug his shoulders and stuff like that. He would never say, Greg changed the play, Kevin changed the play, and nothing like that. He would just take it, man. That's the one thing he loved about it. He's like, listen, we understand that you're the play caller. You're not the captain out here, and you ain't got no tenure out here yet. So call the play. But if it ain't something we like, we're gonna change you now. Like, it's not for the detriment of the team, but a lot of times, like you said, coaches were, they were doing a little bit of overcoaching, and I think they just want to see if something would work. But like I said, most of the time we got in defense. We got burnt for 20 yards, 17 yards, something like that. And we always had to listen to Dom Capers on Monday talk about how many yards we were, from being number one, or how many yards we were behind, stuff like this. Like, listen, that's why we're behind, because y'all keep calling these crazy offenses that we don't work on. So we rectified that. And they understood it, like I said. But there was never any hard feelings. Coaches never, the whole idea was to win. And that's what it was all about there. It was about winning. And they trusted us, and we trusted them, to a certain degree when it came to, certain plays on the field. And, we all got along. We made it work.
Greg, before we let you go, remind our listeners what you're doing now.
I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting on the couch getting ready to put my foot back in this crazy thing. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm getting ready to put my leg back in this thing for 10 minutes in, 10 minutes out, and I'm trying to find me a song in my head that I can sing so I don't say something crazy. But, no, I have, like I said, man, I taught martial arts for so many years. And like I said, I thought when I retired to teaching and things of that nature. So I'm literally retired now. I mean, if somebody asks me to come do something, I come and do it. But I'm like, I don't do social media. I think that's where, a lot of I think it's good, but, there's so much, people, hiding behind that and stuff. I think it's so much cowardice inside. People who have my number like you guys, you call me. I answer my phone or I text you back. People who don't have my phone number, the answers are I don't want to talk to you. That's usually how it works.
There you go. Well, Greg, we certainly appreciate the fact that you came back on the show tonight. You're one of my all-time favorite players. I got my Greg Lloyd jersey on right now. It's such a thrill to be able to talk to you and have you share your stories. Thank you for being here.
Hey, that's cool, man. I'm going to be with Levon on the 20th of May in Pittsburgh together. We got our guest session together, so I get a chance to hang out with the big man.
Right. There you go. Greg, take care, my friend. Hope that knee heals up soon. We look forward to the opportunity, hopefully, to catch up with you again real soon. In between now and then, all the best to you and your family.
Hey, not a problem, guys. And you guys do a great job, man. Thank you guys for having me again.
Take care, Greg. Take care.
All right.
That is the great Greg Lloyd, and like I say, very sincere, one of my favorite players of all time. I love watching his highlights. I loved watching him play every Sunday, and it's one of the great thrills of being able to do this show to Bob, to have a guy like Greg Lloyd join us as often as he has, and we hopefully get the opportunity to catch up with him and Levon Kirkland again here real soon.
Yeah, every time we talk to him, Chris, I say the same thing. I would have wanted him on my team.
Yes.